Our top stories tonight. Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma talks tough on corruption and says South Africa is ready for woman president. A final farewell for gospel star Lundi, laid to rest in his hometown of Worcester in the Western Cape. News Direct, the weekend edition. I'm Kathy Mutlatlana. Good evening.
Hello from me, Jeffrey Stevens. Welcome.
Well, you can track our main stories using the following hashtags: Lundi funeral, NDZ17 and Sydney Sevens.
You can comment on any of our stories by following us on Facebook and Twitter at eNews Direct, or check out content at our website eNCA.com/direct.
While this tops our bulletin tonight, Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma has given the clearest indication yet that she's ready to enter the race to become ANC president. The former AU Commission chairperson told congregants at a church service in Gauteng that women should claim their rightful place in society as leaders and that South Africa was ready for female president.
Praise rained upon Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma as she attended the Faith Gospel Ministry's Women in Leadership service on Sunday.
If she gives you a task, she wants you to do it exactly, because she also does the same with her job.
With many ANC heavyweights in attendance, Dlamini Zuma was lauded for her wealth of experience in various leadership roles.
A woman was created powerful. You can't create a weak leader. Someone say to another, you can't create a weak leader.
When she eventually took to the podium, the former AU Commission chair was guarded about her intentions, saying she was only here to serve the country. But Dlamini Zuma was clear about one thing: corruption no longer belongs in South African society.
Corruption is when you take resources. But it's also corruption when you earn a salary and you don't do your work.
10 years ago, another ANC presidential hopeful spent a lot of time in church in the run-up to the party's elective conference. He was also ordained a minister and eventually elected ANC leader in December 2007. It's too early to tell if this presidential candidate will follow the same spiritual journey or if it will be as successful. Nicolaus Bauer, Kutzon.
Well, exactly a year after the Lily mine disaster, two men speak about the pain of having to explain to their children that they'd never see their mothers again. The bodies of Pritinka Mbule, Yvonne Mnisi and Solomon Nyerende remain trapped underground after their makeshift container fell into a massive sinkhole at the Lily mine in Mpumalanga. Efforts to retrieve them failed, and as it's been considered too dangerous to go underground. A remembrance service for the tragedy has been cancelled due to fear of disruptions.
The only sight at Lily Mine early Sunday on the one-year anniversary of the deadly incident. As villagers go about their business, others count their blessings.
Kukhala umsindo lapha. Sathi masithi siyaphuma ngoba sikule container yokugcina thina. Sabona yonke into yaphansi. Sase sibaleka ke vele. Yabona. Le container le be inalaba labantu lebangenile. Ya ilambrum le. Ya bese seyingena sibhekile kodwa.
One of the people inside that container was Christopher Mazibuko's wife, Pritinka Mbule. He says he thinks about the incident every day.
Hey, ngiyamfathela bhuti ngikhumbula kakhulu cause nanyalo ngisele nje ngihlekwa abantu nangala ukuthi bengitenda mina.
Two of their children, aged 18 months and 4 years, are now with their grandparents. The two older children, aged 14 and 11 years old, are at school, and telling them about their mother was not easy.
Bantwana ngasikhathi besibatshela kuzoma kusaya esikolweni so ngoba le two seyikhulile babukela nama TV sebayati ukuthi kwendeka lokhu makwabo bathi wangena emkhotsini.
Yvonne Mnisi had 2 children with her partner Shadrack Mdluli.
Bantwana bayaphila mara ba right mara uyabona nawo uma umntali ukuthi abakapheleli ngoba kushoda munye kubo. Kushoda makwabo.
But Mdluli believes more could have been done to try and recover the remains of the mother of his children and her colleagues.
Uhulumende angiboni ukuthi ukhona kwenda konke lokusemandleni ukuthi abalethe because uma ngabe khona akwenza akwende konke lokusemandleni nabo ngabe baphumile eli.
Mineral Resources Minister Mosebenzi Zwane says no effort is being spared to resolve the Lilibine situation, but he adds any money due to employees is the responsibility of the mining company. The minister says his department is in contact with the NPA regarding possible prosecution in case of negligence. Malungelo Boy, Babatin, Mpumalanga.
Gospel musician Lundi has been laid to rest. His funeral was held at Zwelithemba Stadium in his hometown of Worcester in the Western Cape earlier today. Kyamaga died over a week ago of stomach TB and liver complications. The 38-year-old is well known for his debut album, Mphefumlo Wam. Earlier in the week, memorial services were held in Gauteng and the Western Cape.
Ndime apha kule ndawo ndithi as a family we are celebrating ulife kaLundi. For now usemnyama kuthi. It is difficult for us to let it go. Ubhlungu ngaphakathi. Siyamcela nathi uThixo asinike ithemba.
Lundi's passing is a great loss for the Western Cape and for South Africa. Lundi will be remembered in our hearts through his music and kind words. He was an inspiration, a hero for the youth of Worcester, for our greater communities and for Zwelithemba. And I want to thank the family and his dear friends that they allow us to be part of his life. He uplifted us all. May his legacy live on in those he inspired, and may God comfort you in these difficult times.
The body of a Cape Town fisherman has been found in the engine room of a boat that capsized at the Cape Town harbour yesterday. His frustrated family says rescue efforts have been inefficient. They're accusing sea rescue authorities of bad management and infrequent communication. SA's Marine Authority says it's investigating the incident.
62-year-old Stephen Latachan's body has been found after he'd been missing for over a day. He was on a boat that capsized as they were trying to tow another vessel.
The vessel capsized while doing a towing of a Chinese vessel that had engine problems. The vessel capsized in that during operation, and 2 crew members were found in the water.
This morning, the boat went completely under following numerous appeals by Latachan to have the boat pulled out of the water hours earlier. He says that rescue efforts have been too slow and disorganized.
They stopped their search in broad daylight, 6 o'clock. Sun was still up. They told us there was no more divers available. They had no more oxygen in their tanks. And I was furious. I mean, how can we not have any more people? If this was a cruise ship, do you want to tell me they would only use 4 divers?
He says harbour activity continued as usual near the scene for several hours after the accident. A death inquest has been opened for investigation by the SAPS. The SA Marine Authority says it's in the process of investigating the incident. A casualty report will be issued on completion of that investigation, but did not refer to Latachan's allegations. Latachan says his dad was meant to retire this year, and their last conversation had been about what he planned to do next after working at sea for 45 years. Hilary Situsa, Cape Town.
A group of businessmen is apparently holding Durban's biggest township to ransom. City contractors have allegedly been threatened and forced to stop providing essential services like waste removal in Umlazi. The group wants to bypass tender processes to get work there. However, the eThekwini municipality officials refuse to be bullied.
Rubbish is piling up on Umlazi streets. But this time, a strike isn't to blame for the stinky situation. Instead, city contractors have been intimidated and forced to stop providing services. The municipality believes a group of businessmen trying to circumvent the tender process is behind the attacks.
They are saying that they want to get work on the table. We are saying that no, we have regulations that are governing the tendering system. We can't be giving them work on the table. They have to go through a competitive process like all the other contractors.
Service delivery ground to a halt on Monday, with water and electricity faults also climbing. Some of the affected workers have opened cases. City officials say while they won't be held to ransom, they find themselves in a difficult situation.
We can't force them to work because they are intimidated, their lives are at risk. We can't force them to come here and work, but at the same time we have to pay them as the municipality.
Residents are fed up.
Zizwa kabuhlungu kabi njengoba kukhona udodo ongathathwa ngoba kuneyinkinga zamagciwane imigqomo iyachitheka izinja zayichitha imigqomo bese kuba neyinkinga.
Asizizwa kahle njengoba udodo nje ngoba kokuqala 1 sineyingane ezikhona emphakathini udodo uyasinukela udodo usuqhamuka manje uba nezibungu yonke lento iaffecta thina.
The city's arranged a clean-up operation for Monday morning. Contractors are expected to resume their duties, accompanied by security and police. Desan Tathia, Umlazi, Durban.
Let's take a look at Newsmaking International headlines. We begin on the continent. Uganda is now home to over 800,000 refugees. The continuing influx of people is coming from neighboring countries such as South Sudan, DRC and Somalia. Most of the refugees are settling in one of the world's largest refugee camps. The Bidi settlement is congested and resources are limited. The Disaster Management Department says it's doing all it can to manage the situation. In China, a teenage girl has died after falling off a spinning recreation facility at an amusement park. Dramatic footage shows the facility spinning out of control before tossing the girl to the ground. Preliminary investigations suggest the fatal accident was caused by negligence on the part of the amusement park officials. It's believed staff members did not fasten her seatbelt. Officials are investigating the exact cause of the incident. Some exciting news for artists who've been waiting to be discovered. The International Arts Talent Showcase is looking for the next big South African actor or actress. I will tell you all about this talent show when we continue. Stay with us. Well, thanks for staying with us. Do you have what it takes to impress movie director Tyler Perry? He's casting director anyway. The International Arts Talent Showcase will be held in Johannesburg in October. It will be hosting Raven Drummer, who could scout some fresh talent on our very own home soil. The first round of auditions have already begun in Durban.
Could you be the next Terry Peto or Charlize Theron? If so, Tyler Perry's Talent Scout is on the lookout for you. She'll be heading to South Africa in October with one job in mind: finding talented, aspiring actors. So start polishing up those skills.
But first, local auditions are being held across the country. We attended the Durban leg.
I want to be famous.
I believe in myself, and that is the most important key.
Not many people have this opportunity, so I felt like if I get an opportunity, I should be able to show my talent to people.
Or we'll all be trapped here forever.
Successful candidates will then get to perform for Kim Myers and Tyler Perry's studio casting director, Raven Drama, at the International Arts Talent Showcase in October in Johannesburg.
So much talent.
There, they could get scouted.
If they get scouted, they'll be invited to attend the International Arts Talent Showcase in Orlando, Florida. And now this is where industry professionals, managers, producers, record labels and agents from Asia, Europe and the United States come together for a 7-day convention.
It's not just aspiring actors who will be invited to the showcase. Models, dancers and singers will also be given an opportunity.
I feel that as a South African artist, we need to give ourselves enough credit because we definitely have what it takes to be competitive and successful internationally.
That's why he hung himself in his own studio.
With this crop of talent, it seems Drama may have a tough time choosing her favorites. Lundi, Johannesburg.
The Directors Guild Awards was a night of glitz and glamour in Beverly Hills. It saw the directors of La La Land and Lion scooping up even more awards for their hit films. They're now firmly set on the path to Oscar glory later this month. But it was another politically tainted show this awards season, many winners taking the opportunity to speak about US President Donald Trump's travel ban. And back home, if you're still wondering who dominated news headlines last year, the National Press Club has announced 2016's newsmakers. State capture, President Jacob Zuma, the Guptas and former public protector Thuli Madonsela make the top list. The club says President Zuma dominated news headlines in what became known as the State Capture Report. According to media monitoring agencies, State Capture generated just over 50% of coverage in 2016. Newsmakers are selected through a nomination process and the executive committee debates them using data from media monitoring agencies. The annual Newsmaker of the Year function is expected to take place later this year. Well, that's your entertainment for tonight. After the break, your weather forecast.
It'll be a cooler day over the northeastern and eastern parts on Monday, with a high pressure ridging in over the eastern part of South Africa, bringing in the possibility of rainfall with it. We'll see the band of cloudy weather and thunderstorms moving slightly further eastward on Monday, but still affecting the northwest, the Free State and KwaZulu-Natal. Thundershowers also forecast into the Highveld as well as over parts of the northern and eastern Cape, with a sunny and warmer day expected in the west. It'll be a cooler day in KwaZulu-Natal with highs in the low 20s over the interior. We'll see a large amount of cloud here with up to a 60% chance of thunderstorms. Thundershowers are forecast mainly over the eastern part of the eastern Cape, with the possibility of morning rain for East London at 26 and thundershowers later on in the day, mostly sunny and warm for Port Elizabeth, Plettenberg Bay and Mustel Bay, all at 27 degrees. Fine and hot as we head further west, Cape Town and Langebaan at around 30 degrees, with another fine and dry day over the western part of the northern Cape, but with the isolated thundershowers over the eastern parts. Cloudy and wet weather continues for the Free State, with widespread thunderstorms mainly over the northern and eastern parts, where there's also a watch for the possibility of heavy rainfall and low-class flooding. That watch also extends through to parts of the northwest, with another cloudy and wet day in the forecast, with most highs in the mid-20s. Morning showers are forecast for Lephalale at 32 degrees, with rain pushing in over the eastern part of Mpumalanga and Limpopo. Isolated thundershowers are forecast over the southern part of Mpumalanga, partly cloudy at 27 for eMalahleni. A cooler day for Gauteng, with most highs in the mid-20s and up to a 60% chance of thundershowers. On Tuesday, we're forecasting thundershowers over the central, northern and northeastern interior, with a warm day in the south and the possibility of evening rainfall. And by Wednesday, you'll see thundershowers and showers across the majority of the country, except in the west, and you'll see cloudy and wet weather over the southern and southeastern parts. That's all from the Weather Centre for now. Have a lovely week.
A recap of your top stories tonight. Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma talks tough on corruption and says South Africa is ready for